Every history textbook teaches the same timeline. Civilization began around 6,000 years ago when humans invented agriculture, settled into permanent communities, and built the first temples to worship their gods. That progression from hunter-gatherers to farmers to builders was supposed to be the natural order of human development, a logical sequence explaining how we evolved from primitive nomads into complex societies. But archaeologists have admitted they got the entire story backwards after fully analyzing what they found at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. This massive temple complex, with intricately carved stone pillars and sophisticated astronomical alignments, was built 12,000 years ago, 6,000 years before agriculture was invented. The site proves that organized religion, monumental architecture, and complex social structures existed thousands of years before humans supposedly learned to farm. Here is what makes this discovery absolutely terrifying. Göbekli Tepe is not just one anomalous site. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed at least 20 similar complexes buried across the region, suggesting an entire lost civilization that operated on principles we do not understand. These were not primitive hunter-gatherers building simple shelters. These were sophisticated societies capable of quarrying, transporting, and precisely positioning 16-ton stone blocks without wheels, metal tools, or domesticated animals. The implications completely rewrite human history. If complex civilization existed 12,000 years ago, what happened to it? Why was it buried and forgotten? And most chilling of all, what knowledge did they possess that we have lost forever? Stay until the end to discover why this discovery suggests that human civilization has risen and fallen more times than we know, and what the deliberate burial of Göbekli Tepe might tell us about cycles of knowledge that could be repeating right now. Göbekli Tepe sits on a hilltop in southeastern Turkey, near the Syrian border. For centuries, local farmers knew there was something unusual about the site. Ancient stones jutted from the earth, and the soil was littered with flint tools. But everyone assumed it was just another medieval cemetery, nothing worth investigating. In 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt arrived to conduct a routine survey for the Turkish government. He was expecting to document a few scattered ruins and move on to more promising sites. Instead, he found himself staring at carved stone pillars that defied everything he knew about prehistoric archaeology. Schmidt realized he was looking at something unprecedented. The site contained massive T-shaped pillars, some weighing over 16 tons, arranged in perfect circles. The stones were covered with intricate carvings of animals, lions, boars, serpents, and birds, executed with artistic skill that should not have existed in the Stone Age. Carbon dating revealed the impossible truth. Göbekli Tepe was built around 9,600 BCE, making it over 11,000 years old. This placed its construction firmly in the pre-pottery Neolithic period, when humans were supposed to be nomadic hunter-gatherers, living in small bands. Schmidt spent the next 2 decades excavating the site, uncovering layer after layer of sophisticated construction that challenged every assumption about early human capabilities. The first anomaly that shocked Schmidt's team was the sheer scale of the construction. Göbekli Tepe was not a simple stone circle or primitive shrine. It was a massive complex covering 22 acres, with multiple circular enclosures containing dozens of carved pillars. Each pillar had been quarried from limestone bedrock using only stone tools, then transported up to 500 meters to the construction site. The precision of the carving was extraordinary. The tops were shaped like the letter T, perfectly symmetrical, and the animal reliefs showed anatomical accuracy that rivaled classical sculpture. But here is the catch. According to conventional archaeology, the people who built Göbekli Tepe were thought to be nomadic hunter-gatherers with no permanent settlements, no domesticated animals, and no metal tools. They should not have possessed the social organization or technical skills for such ambitious construction. The team found no evidence of permanent habitation at the site. No cooking hearths, no storage areas, no residential structures. Göbekli Tepe was built purely for ceremonial purposes, suggesting that organized religion preceded agriculture and permanent settlements. It gets more disturbing. The astronomical alignments of the pillars showed that the builders possessed sophisticated knowledge of celestial cycles. The site functioned as an observatory, tracking the movements of stars and planets with mathematical precision. Schmidt's team faced an impossible puzzle. How did nomadic hunter-gatherers organize the massive labor force required to build Göbekli Tepe? The construction would have required hundreds of workers coordinating their efforts over multiple generations. The logistics were staggering. Each 16-ton pillar had to be quarried using only stone tools, then moved across rough terrain without wheels or domesticated animals. The precision of the placement suggested advanced planning and engineering knowledge. Here's the deal. The discovery violated every model of social evolution. Complex monumental architecture was supposed to emerge only after agriculture created food surpluses and permanent settlements enabled social stratification. Göbekli Tepe proved that sophisticated societies could exist without these supposed prerequisites. But the team discovered something even more puzzling. Ground-penetrating radar revealed that Göbekli Tepe was just the tip of the iceberg. At least 20 similar sites were buried across the region, suggesting an entire network of ceremonial complexes built by the same culture. The implications were staggering. This wasn't an isolated achievement by one exceptional group. It was evidence of a widespread civilization that possessed advanced capabilities thousands of years before conventional history said such societies were possible. The third mystery that emerged from the excavation was perhaps the most disturbing. Göbekli Tepe had been deliberately buried. Around 8000 BCE, someone made the conscious decision to cover the entire complex with millions of tons of earth and stone. This was not gradual abandonment or natural burial. The archaeological evidence showed systematic backfilling, with carefully placed stones and earth covering every structure. The burial was so complete that the site remained hidden for 10,000 years. But here is what made this discovery genuinely terrifying. The burial occurred at the height of the site's use, when the complex was still actively maintained and expanded. Someone deliberately chose to hide humanity's greatest prehistoric achievement. The team found evidence that the burial was conducted with the same precision and organization that had built the original structures. This suggested that the same culture responsible for creating Göbekli Tepe was also responsible for concealing it. The implication sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. If advanced prehistoric civilizations deliberately hid their achievements, how many other lost chapters of human history are buried beneath our feet? The excavation team used advanced archaeological techniques to document every aspect of Göbekli Tepe's construction. When they analyzed the site, they were not making subjective interpretations. They were measuring precise engineering achievements that defied conventional timelines. To put that in perspective, moving and positioning 16-ton stone blocks without wheels or metal tools required engineering knowledge we did not think existed until the Bronze Age. The builders demonstrated capabilities that exceeded many ancient civilizations with supposedly superior technology. The German Archaeological Institute confirmed the findings through multiple independent dating methods. Radiocarbon dating, thermoluminescence, and stratigraphic analysis all confirmed that Göbekli Tepe was built around 9600 BCE. They ruled out later construction because the site was buried under undisturbed sediment layers. They ruled out natural formation because the precision of the carving and the astronomical alignments required deliberate human planning and execution. Schmidt's team analyzed the tool marks on the pillars to understand the construction techniques. What they found was unprecedented in Stone Age archaeology. The carving showed evidence of sophisticated planning, with preliminary sketches and correction marks that indicated advanced artistic and technical knowledge. The astronomical alignments were verified by archaeoastronomers who confirmed that the site functioned as a complex observatory. The pillars tracked the movements of specific star constellations with accuracy that required generations of careful observation and mathematical calculation. Dr. Andrew Collins, who studied the site's archaeoastronomy, confirmed that Göbekli Tepe demonstrated knowledge of celestial mechanics that was not supposed to exist until the development of written astronomy thousands of years later. Ground-penetrating radar surveys revealed that less than 5% of the site has been excavated. The buried structures extend far beyond the visible ruins, suggesting a complex that rivals the largest ancient cities in scale and sophistication. The first suspect was dating error or misinterpretation of the archaeological evidence. The idea that hunter-gatherers could build monumental architecture seemed so unlikely that many archaeologists initially questioned the site's age. But the data showed clear contradictions to that theory. Multiple independent dating methods confirmed the same timeline. The stratigraphic evidence was unambiguous. Göbekli Tepe was built in the pre-pottery Neolithic period, before agriculture and permanent settlements. With dating error ruled out, scientists had to consider more radical possibilities. Some propose that Göbekli Tepe was built by an unknown advanced civilization that was later forgotten or destroyed. The most mind-bending theory is the civilization reset hypothesis. This suggests that human societies have achieved advanced capabilities multiple times throughout history, only to have that knowledge deliberately concealed or systematically destroyed. Schmidt and his team proposed that Göbekli Tepe represented a cathedral on a hill built by nomadic groups who gathered periodically for religious ceremonies. The construction would have been a multi-generational project that gradually evolved into a permanent pilgrimage site. But here is the catch. This theory requires accepting that nomadic hunter-gatherers possessed organizational capabilities that we have never attributed to such societies. They would need sophisticated leadership structures, long-term planning abilities, and technical knowledge that exceeds many later civilizations. Some researchers have proposed even more radical explanations. Göbekli Tepe might represent evidence of a lost global civilization that achieved advanced capabilities before being destroyed by natural catastrophe or deliberate suppression. The implications are staggering. If human civilization has risen and fallen multiple times, it suggests that our current technological development might be following patterns that have repeated throughout history. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe proved that our understanding of human development is fundamentally flawed. This is not just about one anomalous site. It is about the possibility that advanced human civilizations have existed and been deliberately concealed multiple times throughout history. That means the linear progression from primitive to advanced that we teach in schools is a myth. Human societies achieved sophisticated capabilities thousands of years before conventional history says such achievements were possible. But the question that haunts archaeologists is deeper. If Göbekli Tepe was deliberately buried at the height of its use, what knowledge or capabilities were the builders trying to hide? Were they protecting advanced information from future generations, or were they concealing evidence of human potential that someone did not want preserved? So do you think Göbekli Tepe represents evidence that human civilization has achieved advanced capabilities multiple times throughout history, only to have that knowledge deliberately concealed or destroyed? What if this discovery is proof that our species possesses potential that we've systematically underestimated or forgotten? What if the deliberate burial of Göbekli Tepe was part of a pattern of knowledge suppression that continues to this day? The site might be evidence that human history follows cycles of advancement and concealment that challenge everything we think we know about our species' capabilities. If that's true, then we need to reconsider not just ancient history, but our assumptions about human potential and the forces that shape our development. Let me know your theory in the comments. And if you want to keep exploring the discoveries that are rewriting human history, smash that like button and subscribe for more archaeological revelations that challenge everything we thought we knew about our past.